over twisting. Especially on a Phillips like this, it's not as, I feel like it's a little less hard to strip out when you're using a hand turn screwdriver. Tacks. And you can use either a flathead screwdriver or a tack remover for either of these. That little part, try to get my screwdriver under there. You can kind of see I kind of wiggle in there, and I'll just run and pop a bunch of these up enough that a little bit kind of canvas-like, I would say would be a good way to describe them. The weave and the thread in them is just thicker, stronger. So that's kind of like on the lighter side. $6.
How wide is that, 45 or something, or 32?
It's probably 32. Yeah. So, and especially if you're doing just a straight up like huge thick square.
This compacts it, you said?
It does, yeah.
So is your fabric at loose then?
No, so we're gonna make our fabric so any of your cushion to travel to the back, but it could, like, it should cover the sides, yeah. A lot of times, I can just run with a piece of chalk and kind of mark a couple lines at 3, and then connect those together. It all kind of depends on your personality. If you're a very exacting person.
Do you not want to use?
Look like nice scissors.
Oh, instead of like a pinking?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this kind of fabric is good for that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And a lot of times people will be like, oh, well, should we do any sort of like finishing or underneath a little bit smaller piece of batting? And then our chair, and we want to make sure the beveled edge, and we can tell pretty easily here because this has a sticker on it, that should be up, and our beveled edge should be towards like where the seat. And it should be able to just end on the front. The cushion on the back is not going to help our butts at all, right? So we want the majority. Stapler really is not necessary for the upholstery job that we're doing. Let's see if it has it there. No, it doesn't. Sorry.
That's okay. Staple guns freak me out, but I use them. They just
so the hand pressure for it to shoot the staple. But this is the kind of staple that this gun shoots. It's a lot thicker gauge wire. Holding it up here, it actually makes it really hard to pull. So if we think about how like leverage works, the further back I hold this, the easier it's going to be to shoot. And then when I'm using it in the middle of each of our sides. So we're gonna, is it okay that I'm working on this, by the way? Okay, great. Chair, if you flip it over, you'll probably be like, oh my god, this looks like really wrinkly.
Out when you see that big crease going down the center.
But if you start off like this, and we just add a staple here, and it still looks like okay, there's no way to get the rest of this that tight. It's gonna be really warped, but I might not know that. And the reason why I flip this over at this point is because this is also setting our weave. So I want to make sure that it's looking pretty straight. And if I follow along, but we really want them to like almost touch so that we end up with this single pleat here that we can then fold over. So if we fold this over now, you can kind of see like, oh, there's like these extra fabric here.
That's why they're on an angle on those other ones, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna do the same thing here. So again, I wanna be able to get this part of my fabric tight. Fold this down to get like the smallest amount of pleats there. And I can still see like a little, it's something that I get kind of OCD about, and something you can kind of sculpt to work for you. Tack this down with a few staples on the top. So that when we turn it over, you don't see the corners.
Looking good.
And it creates structure for our piece. So a lot of times in a simple chair like this, we'll have webbing, and then we have foam, work some things to convert it so that you can web it. Like with this one, so with webbing, we would have a piece going here. On this one, we'd probably do 2 strips here, and then we would do 2 strips this way. The chair, and then put this cording over to cover up their staples. So like, as a way to like finish it, they like hot glued this. Let's see if we can fit 3 in here. I think I'm just gonna do 2. So the stripes on the webbing actually are there as guides. So they help us know where we put upholstery and carpet tacks, so that these are so small. What it does is it holds the head of the tack with the magnet, so you can start your and then I'm going to fold this over and put 3 tacks in around the blue lines. So this, it makes it so we can keep our hand free and really get this really tight, because we're driving our tack in with the magnet instead of like having to hold it with our hand. Yeah.
I didn't mean that to sound.
So where do you know
No,
where to place
I
What was
it?
it?
Where do you know where to place it? Just,
So I'm kind of playing around with it right now. You know, when I first started this, I thought like, oh, they have to like finish that in some way or tack it down, or, but it's literally just like slight, just a slight roll, and that pressure up against that edge. And once you get this all in place, is gonna keep that really nice, like fitting, kind of drape it almost, and cut it out, and then use that bed sheet as a pattern on my actual upholstery fabric, so that you end up with, 2 threads coming out of it, so it's like U'd around the buttonholes. Or, I'm sorry, but they have those like cloth covered buttons with the ring at the bottom. So you have your thread that goes through the ring, and then you just thread that into your foam, and you get a really long needle, and it comes out this side, and then you just pull it, and you do like a zigzag stapling. So like you pull the thread really hard, so it's pulling that button and tufting the foam, and you staple it here, and then you staple it here, and then you staple it here. So it's like, it's really hard to pull out basically by like